So good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Proscenium. My name is Lisandro Claudio. I am a historian of the Philippines based at UC Berkeley in California. Our panel for today is called Heritage for Our Youth, and we have three distinguished speakers, Corazon Alvina, Regalado Trota and Victorino Manalo. We will hear from our speakers first, three speakers, and then we'll open up the floor for questions and discussion. So our first speaker is Corazon S. Alvina, who studies Philippine material culture, curates and writes. She was director of the National Museum of the Philippines, concurrently member of the Board of Commissioners of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, and was director, then president of the Metropolitan Museum of Manila. Her international engagements included chairman of the Asia-Europe Museums Network Executive Committee, country representative to the International Center for the Study of the Preservation and Restoration of Cultural Property, and to the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization Regional Center for Archaeology and Fine Arts. Alvina is a published writer and photographer. She has conceptualized, edited, and written multiple books for the Museo ng Kaalamang Katutubo. Please welcome Corazon S. Alvina.
Oh, this one. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. We were asked to speak about how to present heritage to the youth who are most of the time now engaged in things other than heritage. How do you present material culture to the youth today? How do you pry them away from TikTok and gadgets, and how do you present things to them that are handmade? How do you make these things interesting so that they are not really compelled but invited to look at, examine, and maybe appreciate, and maybe relate? How can these things be relevant? Museums are, spaces difficult enough to raise audience for, including adults, so that the youth is really going to be a challenge for those charged with making these things, these objects, relevant, interesting, and something that they can incorporate into their daily lives. Because things, ethnographic things, are material culture made by humans and actually living among us. How do you make things that you live among interesting, that compels you to read a book or go to a space and look at something that is in your kitchen anyway? Because that was the answer that I got once from a couple of children when I was trying to show them some baskets. And of course, they looked at the baskets. I go to a museum to see these things. My grandma has a couple of these in our kitchen. So how else do you make these things compelling? I'm referencing this engaging the youth for heritage to an ethnographic museum. So I will show ethnographic material. First, what is material culture? You have to tell them what it is. It is things that humans have made. They range from what I'm holding right now, chairs, food, personal adornment, weapons. All of those are material culture, and they are among us. Now, how do you extract those from the site in situ, where they are functional, where they operate, where they have direct context and meaning, into a space that is supposedly neutral, which is not neutral, because you as curator will give it some significance, some direction, and probably use it to explain your curatorial direction, to explain a hypothesis which you have just formulated for a piece of material culture or a body of objects. May I change my glasses? Because no, I have to read. But hold your glasses. No. So, okay. These are what we have, what I will talk about will be tools, implements, visual arts, dress, adornment, and weapons. And again, as I ask, how do you interest the young in material culture? What about, what would it be, what would it take to get them away from today's gadgets? May I have the next slide, please? Okay. The way to make things interesting, I think, is to engage the object in different domains on different platforms. We just don't deal with them with, let's say, ritual adornment. This is a headdress, a panglao, from the Gadang population of, of the Cordilleras. Of course, this is worn by warriors who have exhibited exemplary valor. This is made of from this, the casque of a Rufus hornbill, now endangered and so restricted. You fertilize by talking about the habitat, the environment, the bird itself. The birds as an environmental resource for a cultural practice. But then, the cultural practice is also at risk because you cannot perform without the object. The other thing is, if you look at this, there are other elements that should be taken into consideration. The children, I think, should be challenged into, not children, the youth, into finding out what these things are. Where are they from? What sort of technique was needed? Was there some adventure engaged in the search for the cultural material? I think that sort of excitement will engage the youth rather than something that is cut and dried. And so this is basketry, textile, and metalwork. So you put all of these elements together so that there is not just one point in the discussion, there are several. And may I have the next slide, please? You also engage in fine description of the object. You tell them what the material is, what it came from, and what it entailed to make these object. And the object is a sipatal. It is a male ornament from the Isneg or Isnag, again, of the northern Luzon Cordilleras. It's a male ornament, by the way. It's an ornament for males and worn by those of high status because if you are from the highlands, to get material from the coast is going to be very expensive. And so these are people who can afford, who have the wherewithal to import things from the coast. These are mother of pearl, and the Isnag live in a landlocked area in the Cordilleras. Okay? So, fine description is the title of a book by revered anthropologist Hal Conklin, and this is his direction to all anthropologists who write that the description must be fine, precise, and I think that is what the youth will need, so that there is no ambiguity in the minds what they are looking at, what the thing is for, and who uses them, and is it still relevant to them today, and how is it relevant to them? I think the relevance is the one that will elicit any response from them. Because if there is no relevance, then there's no point in engagement, I think. And I will admit that it is very difficult to deal with ethnographic material at this point in time, unless you are you are in the realm of connoisseurship or antiquities and auctions. Next slide, please. We continue with the fine description, and I say now it's granular, and it goes with that. You have to explain the object. It's not here, of course, but what is used, what was used in the creation of this object is an adze, and you know an adze is a Neolithic. That's not going to bring in the youth. I mean, talking about Neolithic, I think, but the adze has been a Neolithic tool, and it was used to carve this punaman, which is a ritual box. Okay, do rituals actually engage the youth? I don't think so. But then, as I said, this is what we have to contend with in an ethnographic museum. Next, I'm supposed to speak only for 15 minutes. So, 5 slides? Yes. Anyway, should um, I'll look at my notes. And the other thing is maybe if your audience has gone past through all of this, the other thing that you can point out to them would be aesthetics. What makes things beautiful? Are they interested in beautiful things? And what is beautiful to the generation these days? What do they consider beautiful and attractive, even if useless? And I think I shall end there and yield the floor to the next speaker, which will be Mr. Jose.
Professor Jose.
Is that you?
Thank you very much.
Okay. You want to change?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we can. So our next speaker is Regalado Trota Jose, who studied anthropology and Philippine studies at the University of the Philippines. During his studies, he also performed with the UP Madrigal Singers in local and international concerts. For 50 years, he has researched, written, collaborated with various local and international organizations, and mentored on Philippine cultural heritage during the Spanish colonial period. He was the only lay archivist of the 400-year-old University of Santo Tomas. He acted in this role from 2010 to 2021. And in July of 2024, Professor Jose was elected chairperson of the National Historical Commission of the Philippines. So welcome our next speaker.
Thank you very much. May we have that slides, please? So we have 5 slides also. So with the National Historical Commission, you can, with the ethnographic museums, that's not a particular favorite topic of the youth. So we have to go out of our comfort zones to work with the youth to get them involved in our activities. So may we have the next slide. One of the basic things that we have is training of young people to help in conservation of objects and in architectural projects. So we have every year a set of students from schools like the University of Santo Tomas, and they get a certificate of having worked with us and by getting experience. Here also, maybe move back. So get a better view of the slides than me, I think. So we get, apart from working in the laboratory in our office in Manila, we also bring them to our site museums in Cavite and Batangas, which are nearby. So they get actual experience working with wood and other materials. And at the same time, they are able to use these techniques in the laboratory with our equipment. So we've trained quite a lot of young people now who are, some of them eventually get to work in our office. Next slide, please. Since we're the National Historical Commission, one of our main motivations is to teach or implement the respect to the flag. So we have regular sessions on how to fold the flag, how to raise the flag, how to keep the flag. So we have different sessions all over the country with Boy Scouts, with people from the Boli, and I think we have talented young people also in our staff who are able to excite the youth to participate in these knowledge about the Filipino flag, where to wear it, how to wear it, where to place it. So um, I, as an elder of the National Historical, I really go out of my way to inspire our young workers to inspire, in the turn, the younger people whom they work with. So we also have our mascot, Yanni, who is there in the left, upper left picture. And he's also one of our researchers, and he dons on this Yanni costume to animate the workshops. Next slide, please. We have various unveiling of markers all over the country. So we also commemorate the birthdays and historic events all over the country. So on the right, we have the last year's climb of Tirad Pass to commemorate the birth of Gregorio del Pilar. So that's a 2-hour climb up the mountain, and the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts have camps there overnight. So that's one big activity that the youth like to participate in. When they get down from the mountain, then we have a series of lectures on the history of Gregorio del Pilar and the Tirad Pass. We also, to the left, you see we have the mandate to implement a presidential order to commemorate the Philippine Muslim heritage and culture in the year 2030. So we are working now on a series of events to involve the various Muslim youths in the provinces. So the lower picture is one event we had in Tawi-Tawi last year. We have continuing events and workshops capacitating to write history from their point of view. What are the sources? We have just now sent a researcher from the Maranao to London to look up Maranao artifacts and other objects of his interest. He has just come back, and so we hope to work with him to inspire his members, his circles, in also the writing of Muslim history. This is a yearly thing we will be working on until 2030. Next slide, please. And we have we had the celebration of History Month every August. So this was taken this year. You see in the upper right picture the 3 former chairs, or the 2 former chairs and the present chair of the National Historical. We were all in Giwan, Eastern Samar, to hold a congress called the Local History Committees Network, LHCN. That is a mandated organization to put together all the local history groups all over the country. So it's growing bigger and bigger, and our challenge now is to get more and more people to work with us, and also how to manage such a large group. But they're all excited, and most of them are young people. And you can see former Chair Ambet Ocampo is also over here, who gave one of the keynote speeches in our LHCN conference. Next slide, please. As part of History Month, we also have His2X, which is History to Experience. This idea was also thought about, it was conceived by one of our young workers in the NHCP. So we are supporting this very much, and we really get a large young population to come and join. We have history competitions, and many universities participate. And this one was held in Gateway Mall in Cubao. So we have a lot of young people to come. Next year, we will have it in one of the SM malls, because we need a larger space. It's getting so popular. And this year's celebration was really crowded. It was hard to meander, but it's a good thing that we got a lot of young people to join us. I think this is our last slide. Let's see. Wala na iba? That's no more na. So, yeah. Yeah. So, we're really investing in the youth all over the country to be interested in history, to research and write about history. Thank you.
Thank you. And our final speaker, Ino Manalo, is the current chairman of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts in the Philippines, or NCCA. He also serves as the executive director of the National Archives of the Philippines. He has a master's degree in international affairs from Columbia University and a postgraduate certificate in archival studies from Hong Kong University. He is a Palanca Award winner for literature and has held various positions in cultural institutions, including museum directorships at the Metropolitan Museum of Manila and the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Chair Ino, please.
Hi. Uh, we've been working with young youth programs for heritage and culture for some time now. Before I became head of NCCA, I had a good fortune, of course, of working with the National Archives, and I still am with the National Archives. But even before my government engagements, we had a chance to do workshops with young people. And in one of these workshops, we introduced the idea that for young people to to be able to do something about the issues of heritage and heritage structures in their towns, they could learn a skill in this case, making exhibits. No, so this was some of the workshops that we had. We were teaching young people how to do exhibits, and they would set up the exhibits themselves. No, so one of the things we do is how to make our exhibits, which are very low tech. We don't really use videos and things like that. But in the National Archives, we've been developing a way of putting together exhibits that we hope are better suited for the youth. Among these, for example, is the use of facsimiles of maps and plans. We actually reproduce the documents as part of the exhibit so that people can hold it and feel it in their hands, no, and turn it over and look at the images. Another thing is we do 3D recreations of our maps. For example, if we have an image of a town, we actually reconstruct it in 3 dimensions, but in small scale. And we feel that this brings people closer to the records, because that's the thing. No, we run the archives, and it's not always something that will really appeal to the youth. No, so we've undertook a program to do exhibits based on our documents. The other thing is to create photo ops. So we put together life-size images in 3 dimensions, so that it's really designed so that people can pose with the images, no? And we've even made the kind of game, a football game with our records. You know that I don't what do you call that for you can play with, it's like football. Football, yeah. So we made a football game with our records. And we've made it a point to do our exhibits in schools. We've started partnerships with schools to bring our big exhibits, our large-scale exhibits, to the school itself, so that we're closer to the youth, to our youth audience. No? And finally, we're launching in this October our image bank, which is really just images taken from published books, so that they have a specific date when they were made, when the images were published. And these are ranging from the from the 1900s to the 1950s, because in the 60s the Instamatic camera was invented, so people could have more images at their beck and call. But before that, we had all these. When before our cutoff date was the invention of the Instamatic camera. So before that, we have all these images. We're uploading and uploading images that people can use, mostly taken from school books, no? And some of them are really quite magical. One of them, one of our favorites of this panel, because I know they like it too, is the image of Jose Rizal being taught to read by his mother, as drawn by Fernando Amorsolo. So all kinds of images, we just, in a way, flooding our website with them that we can freely allow people to use because they're already out of copyright. That's about it.
Thank you very much, Sir Ino.
Clap naman, I had to.
We have around 25 minutes more for Q&A. So I'm just going to open the floor for anyone who wants to ask a question of our distinguished panel.
Here.
Anyone?
Gonna be here.
If there are no questions from the audience, oh yes, please.
I have it.
Thank you very much. I have a question for all of you. You are all working for kind of preserving Philippine culture. What was the moment for you personally where you kind of fell in love with that heritage and knew that you wanted to preserve it?
The moment you realized that
Philippine heritage.
you fell in love with Philippine heritage and preservation.
I suppose the first time was when I was conscious that there were things and there were ideas behind the things. These are just artifacts, these are objects, as I said, they're material culture wrought by human hands. But behind that, under that, would be a complexity of things, of the culture that you live with, the things that give birth to the material thing anyway. So these are the intangibles. So for me, I think, because I'm a talkative person, the first thing that really pushed me was language. You know, after I learned the language, I learned other language, and the language, of course, pointed to objects. And that was when I realized this is something I want to do, not that I should do, I want to do. That's very selfish. But eventually, it became, I had to do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sir.
Yeah, I grew up in the 1960s, and in the 1960s generation, America in English were your passports to identity. So when I was young, the McCall's catalog was the ideal. No, we want to get toys from the McCall's. We ordered. Or we tried to find out, So we were really very Americanized. That is the breeding of our generation. At the end of high school, I applied for a scholarship called the American Field Service Scholarship, and I was accepted. That brought me to the state to live with an American family for a year, to experience the American way of life. So I thought that was really the goal, or the nice thing to do. But in the process, I met also other American Field Service scholars from different countries, from Yugoslavia, South America, Uruguay. And they radiated their own Uruguayness or South Africanness. And I envied them because I realized how devoid I was of being a Filipino. I could only sing Dahil Sa'yo, I could only dance Tinikling, and I could only wear the Barong Tagalog, and that was it. So I felt so deprived as a Filipino. So that changed my idea, my look at myself. So when I went back to resume college in the University of the Philippines, I changed my course from geography, because I was interested in dinosaurs. I wanted to do fossils. I changed that to anthropology, because anthropology will make you understand your culture and understand other cultures as well in the context of your cultures. So from then on, I've been working to recover and strengthen my Filipino identity.
Today's October 15. Yeah. Earthquake, but also the birthday of a beloved mentor, no? Santiago Albano Pilar, and Jack Pilar, no? And it's his birthday today, so it's quite an interesting coincidence that you asked me that question, because he's the one who basically made me fall in love with working with heritage issues. He brought me on a tour of the Great Lake of Bai, just outside Manila. And he showed me the churches of the Franciscans that were built. These are churches that were built around the lake. These are churches that are about 200, 300 years old, 200 years old or so. And what was important really was that he showed me the beauty of the artworks that were still preserved inside these churches. And I remember, I think the exact moment was that I was standing on a balcony in the azotea, looking at the view of Mount Banao, and I said to myself that someday I'm going to speak at Book Messe. And no, I made that all up. But no, but really, it's looking at these churches and feeling them, and also the life of the people that surround these churches, the rituals, and the cultural activities that in which these churches provide context, and the towns provide context, that really made me fall in love with this kind of work again, all over. I mean, for the first time, really. And I promised myself that I would share this with as many people as I could, and I think I've tried my best to do that all these years. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Other questions? Yes.
Hi, Elizabeth Leeds. It's a digitalized world now, but I haven't heard any one of you talk about social media presence of your organizations. Do you have any? And would you like to talk about it?
I think we all have social media.
I now work with a museum in the making called Museo ng Kaalamang Katutubo, or Museum to Philippine Indigenous Knowledge. And we do have a presence on social media. We have a Facebook page, and we have 1.5 million followers.
Wow.
That's great.
And two of our books are here, the Batanes book and the armament and ornament of a warrior. So we have two books here. So we publish. And our third book didn't quite make it to this, although I promised Karina I would bring it. But some glitches in the press, which I will talk about the day after, because I have to speak again about visual stories. And so we have publications. We have lectures, both online and in person. We have online exhibitions, so you see our objects before you, because we are waiting for our building to be set up. And we do invite serious scholars to our storage. We have 7,000 objects.
For the National Historical Commission, we also have a Facebook page, NHCP Facebook, FB. So that's our main medium of comparting news about our activities. Just recently, the Philippines suffered 2 series of earthquakes in Cebu and in Davao. So right on the evening of the Cebu earthquake, we already issued recommendations and guidelines on how to conserve the heritage or protect heritage that is damaged by the earthquake. We were the first, I think, government agency to publish recommendations the very night of the earthquake. And then we also did the same thing for the Davao earthquake. And for our young curators, they do their own TikTok. I encourage them to do whatever is the way that they can spread the idea. They know much more than I. I trust them to do that, and I encourage them to do all these things. Use the media for expressing and comparting our messages.
Uh, Earlier, I described our image bank project. So basically, that's our biggest initiative with the use of social media. We make images available, the archival images, and encourage people to freely use them as and to be able, so that they can use it as reference. That's what we generally use, published images that have been from the 1910s, 1920s, etc., so that they have a date and a source for the image that they use.
Thank you.
May I add something? Our FB, our Facebook page, we encourage interaction because we don't know, we have a very slim staff, and you can only do so much research, so that we encourage people to add to our information. If we misnamed or misidentified something, they are welcome to comment. We're not prickly, you know. We don't get angry if somebody says you're wrong. We actually like engagement. You tell us if we're wrong, we will correct it. We will find the information that is pertinent, and so that is how we also enrich the information that we have.
Cara, is this also, I mean, okay, you're all talking about social media presence, but is your social media also directed towards engaging the youth to get involved in it? Because it's
Yes,
one thing to have presence, but is another thing to address and to entice the youth to participate and interact in it.
We have partnerships with universities. Actually, we have an omnibus agreement with the UST. We work with BNILD. I think we are working on renewing the agreement with iAcademy. It's a computer thing. We are partnered with the MSU, the Mindanao State U in Iligan, and we actually deal with the youth. And we have a new children's program which will be launched after our budget hearing.
Thank you. Other questions, please? Well, I have a question if there are no questions from the audience. My question is, when talking about the youth, there are the students, but there are also young professionals. And it seems to me that that's much more difficult to target than the students because you have a direct pipeline of students. You have direct access to them through the universities. Once they start working, it's so hard to get in touch with them. So how do we talk to young professionals in their 20s, early 30s?
I don't know how we do it. I think it's because of the social media. But we have a survey of the age whether they're in school and the actual age. And we actually have that age, 23 to 27. That is the biggest chunk we have in our followership. And also, when we have our live online, live lectures, I don't know if it's because that we serve good food, and yeah, that helps. And so that is the age that we engage also. There's only one old person that comes to our lectures, and it's because her son brings her. These are all, they're people from NCCA, from UP, and the private companies around our premises, which would be Pasig and Mandaluyong.
Well, the younger age bracket, most of them are in our Tapat sa Watawat workshops where we teach the importance of reverence to the flag and all the implications in reverence to the flag. So nationalism, these are mostly the young people, the Boy Scouts, the Cub Scouts. For the young professionals, we have them in our local historical committee network, which is and that's growing. And so this is the local history committees are mostly formed by young professionals who are working for the conservation of history and heritage in their own communities. So now we're covering from Ilocos down to Mindanao and Cagayan, and the number is growing. So these are mostly the young professionals who do, they're not historians, but they have an interest in history. And so they also like to work. It's nice to have them with that conference because they can interact with others and share their problems and success stories. And then we also um, give a call for papers. So we have the 2 days are papers prepared and delivered by these young people. They're young professionals. And so as they interact with each other and with more professional historians, then there's a very good interaction.
Yeah, we when we mount exhibits in schools, no, sometimes we have young professionals or like the young teachers can come in and view our exhibits, and it was from an interview with with the young professionals that did attend that they said that they were more interested in, well, one of the comments was that they wanted to have a way to enter the maps. They wish they could enter the maps. So we devised a way in which you could like open a window of the image of the cathedral, and we would show the inside of it, no. And also it was from the survey of young professionals where the idea came out that they wanted more images. They wanted a bank of images, so that's what we're providing.
Thank you. Other questions? We have time for maybe one, two more questions from the audience. Please don't be shy. Anyone?
Please ask us.
Very
questions.
reticent. Yeah. Cora is saying the Filipinos are reticent. I wonder if that's true.
You have to ask them. Okay.
Oh, yes, one more final question, yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering because I know a lot of people who are interested in heritage, no? For example, one like was kind of elderly, but she wanted to volunteer with the National Museum. And because they have openings for volunteers, but she never received word from them. At my, I think last year, the Purita Calao Ledesma Foundation had a program for the conservation of paper. No? They had these albums, which were already digitized in Singapore, but they wanted to preserve the, how do you call this, the physical volumes. So they called on volunteers as well. I was one of them, much older than the rest, but I was just so amazed, no, that many of them were in university, doing their master's, some their undergraduate. It's like they want these opportunities, but they can't find them. The 03, no, 3 examples. I saw your Ricky in NHCP, no? But these are for architects, perhaps, I don't know, no? But, a long time ago, Aurora Rojas Lim was telling me that, NM is open to volunteers to help with the ceramics, but somehow, they have these openings, but people never get into it somehow. I'm thinking, do you actually need skills for these sorts of things? And so even if they're interested, they can't find it. Yeah.
We have separate workshops for capacity building of professionals. So we have, every year we have at least 3 in the 3 major areas of the country, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. And these workshops are for mostly working conservators and architects, or wannabe conservators and architects. So we have sessions or tours on. So we train them it's kind of informal, but the audiences grow and grow, and there's more requests for such workshops all over the country.
Final comment, Sir Chair Ino?
No.
Okay, I think,
I ha-
yes, please.
Mayan Pernia is here, and she worked with me. She was in the education division when I was president or director of the Met. We had a very good volunteer program, remember? But we interviewed. We didn't care. We had the Secretary of the Congress, someone from the American Embassy, a banker, the retired Secretary of 3M, you remember? We had for like 10 positions or 12, 120 applicants. And they were angry if they were not taken, but they worked with us. What's the name, Iha, of 3M, the one who was the longest? Carmela. Okay, Carmela was with us until there were only 3 because the interning program was over. She stayed with us, and I gave her a very interesting, and I hope the Met has kept it. I asked her to compile all words that pertain to art, because the Met is an art museum, in Filipino. So that was a list that she was making every Saturday as a volunteer. So it was where we could hone your skills further. We even had the teacher, remember Matthew? Yeah? He would take the ferry from Bataan. He was a teacher to come to the Met every Tuesday or Thursday and help in docenting. So it depends on I suppose, the desire to teach and the desire of others to have experience. Because as docents, then you meet all sorts of people, including the Met staff at that time. Thank you, Mean.
Thank you.
All right, a round of applause for our panel, please. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po.